Alright, so like I said, this is a very, very, very recent game. Caught my attention, as these things often do, because I noticed that a Japanese professional was playing a Chinese professional. Whenever two people of different countries are playing each other in a nice international match, my attention is piqued. This one was played in the Nongshim, which, in case you are not aware, is a bit of a blitz. But don't think of it as a blitz as in, something that you might see here on KGS. It's not a 10-second blitz like you might play. I mean, their blitz still goes on for hours. So, a little bit of a different meaning there. But yeah, it's a bit of a professional blitz game between Japan and China. I should go ahead and mention that my memory is really, really awful. I can't think of who he was. Prior to this, the Chinese professional also played another Japanese pro, and I forgot who it was. Was it the Fujitsu? I thought it was a Nongshim. Now you have me doubting myself. I do not know. I'll have to look that up afterwards and make a note in my upload. Either way, Black did play another Japanese pro before this. I don't even know who that was either. Now I'm completely doubting myself. Thank you very much. I want to say it was Hane Naoki, but I feel it might not be right now, and I completely blame Okami for that, so thank you. Thank you very much. But alright. We have a pretty straightforward opening. I picked this one. I picked this game over the other game that I mentioned against the other Japanese professional because that one opens up with a Chinese Fuseki, and we've been seeing a lot of the Chinese Fuseki lately, so I did not want to go over that again. Great opening, nothing wrong with it, but we have been seeing it to death, so yeah. Here, White says, no, I do not know if you intended to go ahead and play the Chinese Fuseki, but you are not going to be able to do so now. I put a stop to that. Because that's what he did. Previous game. Opened up with Chinese. A lot of games recently are doing that same thing. So now we have an interesting question. How is this game actually going to develop? Because we have no idea. There are so many different options here. We can take corners, we can take territory, start fights. A lot of different options here available to Black. And Black says, I will get influence. Okay, interesting choice. A bit unusual with the board so uncertain here, because we have no idea what this area is going to be like, who's going to be getting to develop it. It's a bit of a giant question mark right now. But alright, White responds. And he had a couple of ways that he could play this. He could go and extend here. Or he can connect. Right, or he can make this weird little tiger's mouth. So he's got, and I should really number those and not triangle them. Let's make that easier to see. He can do either of these. White goes with solid connection. Black takes his territory as opposed to, let's say, I don't know, doing anything else. If White had played here instead, we'd probably see Black continuing the influence. Though still possible to go territory here as well. And my water tastes awful. Yuck. But alright, Black takes territory. White decides not to try to settle. He jumps on out, allowing Black to continue to take on the bottom. Now we have a little bit of a dilemma, because we've got this happy little wall here, and we want to extend from the wall in order to try to actually use this wall to develop. But if we do that, we all know what our opponent's going to do. What is he going to do? What would you do if you saw your opponent extend right now? What would you do? What would you do? You would pincer? That would be weird. By pincering, do you mean you would literally jump into A and try to pincer this wall? Am I misunderstanding? Sorry to put you on the spot. I'm just curious. Is this what you mean by pincer? Sphere con? Or sheer con, sorry. Ah, wrong choice of words. Okay. I thought so. I thought so. Take open corner. Yes, taking the open corner is what I would expect. Black would be operating on 3 corners. That's a lot of potential territory. White is just influence at that point. I would definitely like black better than white at that point. Someone said, yeah, R13, also a good choice. Try to force a defense here for white. Now he's really invested in this tiny area, and then you might have Sente to go back, take an empty corner. That would also be very, very nice for you, if you were in fact black. I would not expect to see S6 if white jumps away right now. That seems a little bit slow. I know I wouldn't respond to it if I saw the jump. I would just approach the upper right 4-4. Get black to back off there and take the empty corner probably. But, yes, white decides extending from influence to slow. He takes the open corner. So the question now is how aggressive should we be here as black? Because white did not take his extension. He's going to want to take an extension, white will. But right now it is black's turn, so he has a chance to deny this. But how aggressive should we be when attempting to respond here? Should we play really, really close and try to pincer this little wall? Well, not really a little wall, it's kind of 4 lines long, isn't it? Should we back off? How far do we back off? How do we know where to back off to? Any ideas for that one? Any thoughts there at all? Okay, we've got some people around the double-digit Q range wanting to go and play Q10. I do like that you changed your mind. Oh, wait. Maybe you didn't change your mind. I do like that you would want to play R13. That is, in fact, the move that's played in the game. Reason why we don't play too close, obviously, we can count out how large this wall is. It's, about 4 lines long. So if we go any closer than that, we're going to be in a lot of trouble. Essentially, all white has to do is pincer us, and we don't really know what we're doing from there. Running away, a weak group running away in the beginning of the game like this, not a good idea. Well, even that... Whoops, yeah, even that's not that great. I mean, yes, now you're giving a little bit more thought to your move. You're thinking, okay, I can connect up here, that's great. But still, even if white just disconnects you, you still can't quite make it to safety. You're still going to get cut off. White's still going to have this nice little 2-space extension to attack. Even if white lets you connect up, there's still the question of, are you really? I mean, can you actually connect up this stone? We have to be very, very careful how we try, because we can't do it this way. That doesn't work. So, way too close. And even if we play farther away at Q10, there's still the option here for white to go and try to cut you off. Because connecting your stone up is pretty much impossible, and a one-space jump here doesn't quite put white behind enemy lines. So white can think about cutting the stone off. Maybe not this way, maybe actually just approaching your 4-4 stone. Because if we kick and make a fight here, it's not really all that bad. We're just having a weak group that we have to now try and make life with. So black says, forget all that. I don't want to be cut off. I'm going to take my large knight. You can still extend if you want to, but you're only going to be extending. Damn, let's click that. That would have been bad. Farthest you're going to be able to extend to is somewhere around R10. If you go any further, I can obviously cut you off. And R10's pretty reasonable for what he has. He can poke at that later and reduce it even more. So he's not being greedy. He's not being greedy at all. Which is why white doesn't even bother responding here. He says, okay, forget that. You have a large knight. You want to extend from it. I'm going to take it. It's too small to still take that extension right now. I'll wait and see if you do anything silly, like come too close. And then I can pincer this and try to kill you. So for now, simply too small to respond there. Black not wanting white to get an enclosure now that he's got the extension up at K16. Approaches. And this is where things get a little bit fun. Because white, still wanting to go influence, actually pincers, as opposed to playing a more territorial approach by backing off with F17, getting some solid points. He goes to use potentially a wall here with F16, because we can dive in the corner. And I'll show that in a minute. Get a wall for white. Has the extension. There are drawbacks to that. I'll go over in a moment. But black says, forget all that. We're not going to play just Joseki like this. We're not going to approach one corner, play Joseki, approach another corner, play Joseki, approach another corner, Joseki again. We are going to get into a fight here. So he decides to approach the lower left corner. Now things are interesting, because you have to not only think about what Joseki you want locally, but how is that really going to tie into what you've left on the board? White has to make such a decision. He decides to pincer tightly. But before I go any further, in case anyone couldn't visualize what I was talking about earlier, it was this particular Joseki, which, to be honest, I still wouldn't like very much as white, because I don't have an approach at 017. So moves like this for black kind of annoy me because I feel almost compelled to respond so I'm not undercut, and that is irritating. Or responding in such a way that I'm just solidifying black's territory, while all I'm obtaining is this area that's still open for minor reduction. So I don't like that. I don't like that. I don't like playing this particular way. But alright. White says, I am going to attack both of your stones. Which is a fairly clear indication that black has to change directions. Typically. That's what we would expect here. Both of our stones are under attack. There is a space here. There's a weakness left behind, but do you really want to bet on all of this, being able to take advantage of it? I would be very uncertain as to. I mean, I've tried to do that in the past, and it's just gone horribly. Now I'd be a bit hesitant. Black, on the other hand, is a lot more aggressive than me. I would consider F3, yeah. I would think about that. Black says, forget that. There's a weakness there. I'm taking advantage of it. So he jumps out, something I almost never do because I hate this Joseki. Jumping out when I'm pincered tightly like this, absolutely hate it. But he's trying to essentially get into a nice little fight, so he's jumping out. Now everyone's going to have to make sure all their stones are settled. Bit of an aggressive decision. Even more aggressive is Black's next play. Because Joseki says that we would probably play b4, White would respond with a 3-3, we'd go under, in order to settle. At that point, I don't know, maybe White goes back and plays d4 in order to follow up. Maybe he threatens to undercut the little territory that Black's trying to get on the bottom right. Take himself some territory on the bottom. Oh, this seems fairly reasonable idea. But no. Black says, okay, you backed off high. I'm going to threaten that too. If you're not careful, I'll undercut everything that you have. So now the game is difficult, because we've got weaknesses all over the place. We've got this group here, that's not settled. We've got a small weakness at C10, because of this lovely extension from the white stones. Might be able to take advantage of that, might not be. We've got, at some point, a stone we would like to follow up and do something with. Both players would love to, because a move like d14 works nicely for white, and being able to settle works nicely for black. To top all that off, we've also got a little bit of a weakness here that we're probably, as white, not going to be able to take advantage of. This one would be very unlikely, because then there's just complication all over the place. If we were to take advantage of that, if that was our goal, then we would have one thing to worry about, two things to worry about, three things to worry about. That's a lot of worries. Probably not going to get that one. So white says, fine, I'm going to do one thing at a time, I'm going to settle my corner, this is going to be fine, then I'll attend to my weaknesses. No problem. Here's an interesting move. What is this threatening? Can anyone tell me? Because this seems like a very, very deliberate move. Normal moves for us are probably descending. To some weaker players, you might connect here out of fear of the cut. But this seems very, very strange. What are we trying to do here? Yep, that water is definitely full of chlorine. Oh my god. Yuck. I think that move protects d6 while threatening c10. Okay, yeah, there's a protection there. Granted, yes. While threatening c10. Can threaten to go under, true. Anything else? Separating the corner from the side. Yeah, okay. I see what you're saying there, John. You're saying that if we play elsewhere, then white can clamp, and suddenly the side and the corner are all connected up. That's good. That's good that you're able to read that follow-up. I like that. Very true, very true. Oh, no I didn't. Okay, good. Indeed, what does it offer black in the corner? Because let's say white doesn't defend the corner. Let's say white defends here. How does this help black? I mean, what are we going to do now? Now this just looks very, very strange unless we've got a very good follow-up for that corner. What do you think? Is there one? 3-3. Monkey jump. Ooh, no, not monkey jump. We're not monkey jumping into the corner. That's not severe enough. No. I think I like Flexen's response, b5, b4, and then d5. Wait, what's d5? Ew, lost me on d5. This is something that you typically do not want to do, because now you've just solidified fourth line for your opponent. So, bad habit, bad habit, bad habit. Instead, we do have this, don't we? Yes, we do. Because the question now is, what is white going to do? Is white going to make a ko out of his corner here? Interesting choice. Is white going to back off? Also interesting choice. Another interesting choice. What if white, or if black clamps? Also a problem. Now we find ourselves a little bit undercut with no base, and now we have to get out very, very sharply. Similar for this. If we don't go to ko on this one, we can see that we can't be very severe and keep white in like we, or like black in like we normally do, because this is horrifying. I mean, that's game over right there. So we would have to go to ko. And white says, no, I don't think I want to play that in my corner. Oh dear, no, I didn't ruin it, I didn't ruin it. There we are. So it says, forget that, I'm going to play here. Nice and safe, my corner's not going to be threatened today. You're under attack, what are you going to do? Black says, well, not to worry, I had two things I could do. I could go into your corner, or I can come out. So you took off one, I will grab the other. Oh, I'm sorry to hear that, Yangshi. But glad you're here now. So black gets his follow-up. Another choice here by white. Do we save the stone, or do we not save the stone? That is the question. And to find that question, to find the answer to that question, sorry, we have to ask ourselves a very simple question. Is this stone dying in one more move? No. It's going to be hurt, but it's not going to be completely off the board yet. So that's cool. If it's not going to be off the board, maybe it's not quite important to respond to just yet. There's still going to be Aju with that stone. So from there, we can ask ourselves a better question. Are there any larger moves on the board? And there is. We do have this stone here at c14 that we never got a chance to respond to. Or that we never got a chance to follow up, sorry. We know that black would love to follow it up, but he hasn't. So as Fordon just mentioned, yes. Follows up at d14. Takes a wall for himself. Black, knowing full well there's Aju remaining in d8, plays another move there. Limit the Aju, strengthen himself, all that good stuff. White, knowing similar things about the stone at c14, follows up. So this game, which just a few moves ago was looking to get horribly complicated, suddenly turned into something a bit more simple for all of us to follow. Well, it's all a matter of being willing to compromise, RJM. There's a lot of players who would not be willing to compromise their games. It's amateur players who wouldn't want to compromise their games. They'd say, this stone, yeah, I'm going to go ahead and save this and do whatever I need to do there. And from there, who knows where this is going. Haven't followed up c14 yet, doesn't look like we're about to. These stones in the center now have been heavily invested in now that we're spending more and more moves on them. Might not get to go back and follow it up. So yeah. As long as the stone's on the board, yeah, there's still agi. That is true, Calm, that is true. But now the game is a bit more... Wow, that fits in perfectly. Now the game is a bit calmer. Not only that, but White is beginning to take some serious territory for himself. He's investing himself in the top. He's investing himself in the bottom. So Black says, okay, I'm gonna go ahead and invest myself in the upper right corner. Also adds the added benefit of ensuring that White, play here. That White doesn't get a chance to expand completely across the board, or take the corner away. White still expands. Not quite as far. And now there's Samaji behind. This is a game played, I want to say, last night or the night before. Between the players I've marked out. A Japanese professional 9-dan and a Chinese professional 5-dan. I'm no longer certain what this game is. I think it's the Nongshim. I'm almost positive it is, but someone said it might have been the Fujitsu. So now I'm confused. I think it's the Nongshim though. Question. If Black played M17, instead of P17, right, would White jump into the corner immediately? That's a good question. It's possible. It is certainly possible, yeah. I would certainly be tempted to. This is turning into more of a territorial game. I don't see why White would instead play for influence and allow that to be secured, especially in light of this group here getting stronger. So yeah, he might. But alright, the game's pretty simple to follow again. We know where our territory is coming from. We know which groups are a little bit weaker than others. And we've also got a large knight on the board. Now, question. If we were going to invade this top, where would we go about doing it? Does anyone know? D18 first, okay. Everyone else is immediately saying the exact same thing. L17 maybe, but a little bit small. That's just going after one stone. J16. You are very aggressive, Basilican. But very true. You could attach to that stone, I suppose. I suppose you could do that. But yes, the most common invasion in this particular shape, I would think, is H17, as you guys got correct. The stones are a little bit unsettled. They're now undercut. They're going to have to respond to defend themselves, and as they respond, our little invasion stone is going to get stronger. Because White's not... Well, I suppose he could, but it's unlikely that White's going to respond in Gote simply by playing K18 or something in order to defend himself. He's probably going to do either one of two things. He's either going to kick the stone and then surround, or he's going to pincer to keep out of the corner. In this case, White pincers to keep out of the corner. forcing black to run away. And then attacks. Now we have to try and settle ourselves, because we're surrounded by stones that are rather strong. The left-hand corner is very, very strong for white. Right-hand stones, not so much. There's still some weakness there. So black decides to lean against the strong stones in order to make himself stronger. White responds by not leaving very much Aji behind. He doesn't, for example, create this. He doesn't leave F17 all by itself, which might, for example, allow black to make shape up here later. Responds nice and strong. If K just stop lagging, there we go. And then threatens to go under the white stones. Obviously that's not going to be allowed. So white responds again, allowing black to jump away. So black was made a little bit stronger. White did get an extra move in, but still kind of lacking some shape. He's going to have to look after that very shortly, because he's got small knights that can be cut through. Got to be careful. He makes another one, leaning against Blackstone, trying to force this sort of exchange, where white gets a nice little wall in the middle. Black says, no, I'm not doing that. I'm going to reactivate my stone, or the Aji from it, rather, and I will make my shape that way. I am not touching you. White says, okay, that stays dead. Black gets 2 moves for the stone, which was essentially dead, which is very, very nice. Question, isn't F17 better than G13? What is G13? That is G13. Okay, what is F14 then? Oh dear. Well, now we're in trouble. We haven't jumped beyond white's line. We're like literally right at the edge of it. So I think the thought here would be, I'm about to get capped. And now I'm probably going to have to play a move over there anyway. So no, I don't like F14 very much here. This gets black out. Let's see, move forward. There we go. Good question, though. Good question. Black attacks, seeing if he can create a little bit of weaknesses there. Because if white responds with a normal move, then you have to keep in mind black still has the push, black still has the peep. This line of stone's not very strong. So white says, fine, I'm going to make my stone stronger by attacking your low stone. B leaves a vital point at G16 this way, though. He's not surrounded, though. I mean, you can, I guess you're worried that he's going to lose a stone? Let's go and play elsewhere so we can go back and address that. Go play here. Well, go and play, no, do that, and you go and do something else. There we are, white's turn. This isn't all that much of a problem, because black has a few different options. One, he can simply, play this way, in which case, maybe not this way. That seems like it's going to get you killed. This seems fine though, and we still have eye shape. I mean, white can take that, doesn't really matter, so it's not going to do that. So I guess at this point we're going to connect. Now we can play here. Still have an eye on the top for black though, so I guess we can play Gote to get rid of that. We're still out though, so not really too much of a problem. G17, G15? Yeah, I mentioned that. Well, oh, yeah, that works. True, 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 true. That works as well. Even if it didn't though, it's still fine. Black's not in trouble. Oops. Oh no, did I ruin the variation? Oh no, I didn't. Ah, phew. I thought I ruined a tree for a minute there. So white goes ahead and caps in order to make himself stronger. Black has a decision to make. Do you extend and let yourself be invaded? Do you defend and let white get a fairly large wall on the right-hand side? Black says, no, 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 I'm going to fight that. I am most definitely going to fight that. So white fights right on back. He didn't protect the large knight. So he's going to see what Aji can get there. Black tries to take. And now we have an interesting fight on our hands. Because white gets the Atari, clearly. Black descends, and now we have to figure out how best to defend this. Indeed, very good. R11. We could play here, but now we're fine, and we're responding in Gote. So at this point, black is going to be very, very happy because he can think about how to live back in here. I mean, can I play something like this in order to threaten to link up? Can I then play out to try to surround? Maybe, maybe not. Can I threaten to connect this way before playing all of those moves? I mean, there's just entirely too much Aji. That's why it's very important here not to, to make bad shape. So black has to take the stone, otherwise he's going to lose his 2, allowing white to get a very important extension. So now white's actually developing here. Watson? Who are you referring to? Oh. Sorry, what didn't you know? Ah, I see. So, black jumps out because, keep in mind, we still have weaknesses with these small knights. Small knights can be cut, and we will do so if we can. But white's going to reactivate Samaji from his stones that are not quite dead yet. And now we have a problem. He's threatening to cut through and kill off N17, or N15, so now we have to respond to that. But this is a really great move, because we cannot respond to it how we would want to. We would love to connect, or maybe play M18, anything else, in order to prevent being cut. But if we do that, black's coming out again, in which case this is all under attack again. So this is not a move that we really want to respond to. Aji. Black connects. And here things get odd. White is cutting just to see if he can make sure that black can't undercut him in Sente. Or can roll rather threaten to connect up with anything that's undercut. Black extends though. And instead of going for a straight kill, he extends first. Because this is what white really wants you to do. White wants you to kill this so he can make sure that these stones at R14 are never going to be a problem for reducing the right-hand side. But black says, no, your stones cannot live there. I'm going to threaten to live on the right-hand side. White threatens to live in the corner. Or at the very least make it more difficult to capture him. Black says, I don't care, I'm going to come out. Now we really have a problem because someone's making a very bad mistake here. White defends. Black cuts, creating Aji. This is nice. Preserves his liberties. Has the option to Hane later. And also leaves white still having to deal with the cut stone. So now that he has a lot of liberties here, what can he go back and play? He can go back and make sure that white's dead. Now we have a problem. Because this corner just got a little bit larger. And the right side's just been reduced. This was not a very good trade for white. I mean, all he was looking for was to close this off. Instead, he's just been reduced fairly heavily. On the bright side, Sente. White has Sente. Unfortunately, there's still a lot of Aji with P9. So we could play elsewhere, but that's going to come back to haunt us. So white takes. Now this is no longer Sente. This was Gote. That makes it even more painful. Black says, right, I have Sente. My groups are all doing fine. I don't have much to worry about. I'm going to keep up the attack. No, the center was greatly reduced already. All of these moves just reduced the center. The fact that white had to play all of this stuff greatly reduced the center. So white defends his corner. Black goes after more Aji, in this case to cut through some stones. White says, you can't get into my middle. That's pretty much my bet at the moment. That is my territory. So black says, fine, I'll cut right through you. And 3 stones quietly die. Why did black play e3 and didn't protect? He was looking to see how white was responding. If white did not respond in this fashion, let's say he responded here, then he probably would continue to play here until white did. Because right now, white's still very much in danger. How white responded, white's not in danger, so he went to attack something else. There's still Aji here. He went off and played here. Had white decided to go and play f3, That's even more painful, because now black's gonna come in, he's attacking an entire group, not just threatening to cut through 3 stones. Yeah, not the biggest move. And white kills off a stone that we were just arguing about. Hooray! But this is a little bit of a large move, to be fair. There are nice follow-ups here, because with this, we've now activated an invasion at K3. We can potentially try and make something happen there. Or maybe we could attach and try and isolate it that way. So there's some agi here. There's some agi here. Now, this next move is very, very interesting. Because you guys mentioned, well, someone mentioned, why not keep reducing the middle? So I'm going to ask, how would you reduce the middle if you were black right now? If he goes from the middle, he's going to lose anyway. Okay. Minus 10 points for the person who said Tengen. What else do we have? Really? Tengen seems reasonable. If you play Tengen, you are playing, oh, so close to being behind enemy lines right now. I think black or white would be happy. Because that's something that he could actually attack. He can threaten to reactivate Aji from his D8 stone. He can threaten to come in from the top here by leaning on M4. And if you respond to these, you're behind enemy lines. And now you're probably going to get surrounded and killed. So you have to be very, very careful. That is a sector line, but it can grow really fast before you can respond to anything. So you do have to be very careful here. Good question. A sector line essentially is when we see what our opponent's building, and we try to find the outer edge of it. Like my really bad drawing right now, if we were to look at the middle and draw an imaginary line between these 2 stones, that's a sector line. Anything beyond it is going to get surrounded, so you'd best be able to live inside. Anything on the other side, you're probably fine. That is a very short definition of a sector line. Comes in handy when trying to reduce. So, we have a lot of interesting ideas here. We had K12. Whoa, we had K12 as an idea. That would again be behind the sector line, and probably not going to live. Because it's not quite what you think. There's this extra liberty here, which means cutting is not really going to be sensei in the way that you want it to be. So you have to be careful there. L12, wow, you guys are absolutely insane trying to reduce this. You have no respect for this little center area of influence at all. Black, on the other hand, has the utmost respect for it. He threatens to peep in. Makes a nice strong move. White cannot lean on M4 anymore to enlarge his area. So he took away a very nice move for white. We're making sure that our K3 stone, or a K3 invasion, can't live. Because keep in mind before this... Nope, stupid, I need that stone. Because keep in mind before this, and let's go and put that stone back. There we go. Before this, we still had Aji here with this particular invasion. Having this stone on the board greatly diminishes the chance of that actually succeeding, because we can simply kill it off and be happy. So this is an answer both to how we're going to get in. No, I'm just setting it up a different way. Here, I'll show it in the actual game. Let's say, he played Doot, and white plays here. But let's say he played here instead. Then we can simply go cut this off, make sure it can't escape, and these stones aren't going to help us at all. So invasion here, not going to be possible. So it's both a defense and an offense. It is very hard to find. If you can find moves like this, you're probably a fairly good player. You're also probably sandbagging. Let's see, white, on the other hand, still trying to get any kind of Aji that he can use to invade the bottom, plays the attachment. Black has options. He can extend, he can Hane, Tanuki. That was a joke, Yangshi. L7? What is L7? Okay, yeah, we could take the Tanuki on into his area. True. Ooh, Cat is voting for 2. So we have 1 to continue reducing. We have 1 to Hane over. Any other options there? Okay, we've got a 1 as well. We are getting a lot of options here. I like this. I like it a lot. Oh, JL goes to 3. JL, you asked yourself, or you answered the last question about invading. Didn't do so well there, but congratulations. With 3, you have redeemed yourself. That is what black plays. So congratulations, this time you are quite correct. Now, why don't we see this? Well, this is actually still a reduction. This is a bit successful. If we play here, at the very least, we're getting him to force a capture and enlarging the left-hand side. Is there anything else here for us, though? This not gonna work. Here, same thing, probably not. This, again, no. So yeah, it looks like this is probably the best we can get away with. This is getting entirely too complicated. Don't think it's going to work. No, that seems quite dead. So yes, it does force capture in Sente for white, allows him to build up the bottom side, so it's a fairly good result for him. If we play up, then we're allowing something entirely different to happen. We're saying, okay, you're going to reduce your liberties, I like that. But what do you do when I push? Oh dear. Actually, no. We're going to hit here, aren't we? Yeah, this is better. Now we're out. Because this doesn't work. That's captured. This doesn't work, because this is derp. So that really, really hurts. Clamp? Okay, let's clamp. Doot, doot, doot. Derp is everything. So we can go there, cuts, have to protect on that side. This is getting dangerous. I hope we can't live here. Can we actually cut? I are not liking this. I are not liking this at all. Can we go here? No, that's just going to leave that behind. And if we back off, that's leaving pretty easy shape. So yeah, couldn't white crosscut N4? I don't know. I'm not reading anything. Here I guess. And then there's this, I suppose. So back to this, I guess? Yeah. So yeah, a little bit too much. That risks the entire game. Well, maybe not the entire game, but a lot of it, because that's a lot of territory to disappear. So instead, black simply goes, you know what, you're not going to go. You can leave if you want. You can extend. I'll probably follow for a move and then Hame underneath you. I'm keeping my territory. You'll get a weak group. We're all happy, which is precisely what happens. This way, we get to keep our territory, and white is the one with the weak group. That is thankfully not trying to live in a large chunk of our territory. White connects. Black protects and threatens to revive his E3 stone. White tries to use Yaji to further enlarge the middle, but let's stop here for a second and figure out what's going on the board. How many points of territory does... I'm not undoing this. How many points of territory does black actually have? Is a very good question to ask ourselves here. That way we know who's actually in the lead, who's not in the lead, how many points we need to make up here, all those good things. And as we can see, black has an inordinate amount of territory now. Might not look like it, but it seems like he's got at least 60 points, maybe 70 if he gets in some good endgame. A couple of more if he revives this. And who knows if he's getting anything in here. So he's got pretty close to 70 points. White's got 2 corners and a middle. So at the moment, black is extraordinarily happy. If he doesn't die anywhere, and Comey, true, and Comey, if black doesn't die anywhere, he should be fairly happy. Because it looks like he's leading. Black connects. Also threatens to attack. Because this would not make us happy. Well, probably the diagonal. Not make us happy. So white says, you're not coming in. Well, we found out the conclusion. Black has an extraordinary amount of territory. And as we can see here, I wish I could just, highlight and label this pretty quickly with just dragging my mouse. Oh, that would be such a nice feature. I would love that feature. As we can see already, we're not even close to being close to 70, and he's not going to make up the 30-odd points in the center. There's a lot more they need to do first. I would not suggest new features for them. One thing that I really hope they clean up is the lag. KGS has been lagging lately. Not good. The lag. Especially, you're noticing it if you're a teacher. I don't know if you're noticing it in your rated games, but... Anyway. Black threatens to peek in. Again, painful. What are we going to respond with? Are we going to save our 3 stones? Because if we save those 3 stones, black's coming in. So white plays the Hane. Gets to Atari. Duh! No, that was a misclick. I had almost made it through the entire game without a single... Next time, next time. And now tries to kill off the 3 stones. No, I can't. I can delete it after, but I can't delete it during. If I could actually... Yeah, that is annoying. So, that's gotten rid of. Those close to 70 points, I think we just hit them. White follows up. If we can maybe get some sort of cut or something going on here, it'll be alright. Black goes on the attack instead. Plays the Hane to try to connect. Black says no. White connects. Black tries to kill. But can't really do that, can we? Too many liberties here. We have to back off. Same thing here. Too many liberties. We just can't do it. We have to bamboo off and allow him to connect. Because if we get too greedy and played this way, those extra 2 liberties here are going to save us. Because now all he really needs to do is Atari, and that's the end of that. So white gets to connect. Black has to connect, allowing a little bit of a hope, just a little bit of hope for white. Threatens to cut through. Black doesn't care. White says, no, you can't kill my corner, thanks. So, if he can't kill white's corner, then black's not going to allow white to kill him in the middle. He manages to seal off the rest of the center, but it's just not enough. Black gets to poke and poke. White tries to take endgame. Black resumes poking. No co for him. And white resigns here. Oh, does score estimator? Let's see what silly estimator says. Silly estimator is wow, really? Oh wait, silly estimator now says black 14.5. And that's 14.5 and killing off... Okay, silly estimator has just gone and lost its mind. Yeah, I don't... Did silly estimator really say 4.5 a second ago? How did it change its mind so fast? Several moves. Maybe it's... Okay, maybe it was this that changed its mind? Yeah, okay. Silly estimator changed its mind there. But even when before it changed its mind, it was also assuming that um, all of these stones were dead. Bit of a big assumption there. Bit of a big assumption, not gonna lie. Clearly they're not. So without an additional 5 stones being killed, plus their surrounding territory, that's a bit. That's a bit more than 3.5 points, yeah. Oh, silly estimator is too much fun not to pay attention to, fraud with. Why do we play Hunt KGS if not for silly estimator? But alright. That's the end of this game. White resigns here. Are there any questions? Will I be doing... I cannot decide on that. I'm tempted to. For those of you who do not have any idea what Culm is referring to, the last 2 years in a row now, I guess, the last week of December, I've been allowing you guys to mail me games that you want to go over. Typically, games that you thought were really, really good this year. It was a best of series, a best of that particular year. Didn't go so well. I kind of have to usually expand that to allow you to send in pretty much whatever you want. Because a lot of people don't have a favorite game from this specific year. They have a favorite game, but who knows what year that's from. I might do that. If you have a game that you want to send in to have reviewed that last week, you can go ahead and do so. I'll probably do that. One interesting thing about the holidays, that particular last week, is I have so many students that usually call off because they're out with family, so I usually fill the time with that. So yeah, if you guys have games you want to send in, you can feel free to do so. What did I learn from this game? Patience was one, as you all also learned, because you guys were going crazy about about your reductions. Like, yeah, I want to play K12, I want to play, I don't know, M13 or whatever. And it's like, no, I'm going to play diagonal here and just kind of poke. So that was one thing that I thought was interesting. There's always a few other things that I learned from games I won't mention. A couple of reminders of direction of play things like that. How much I'm glad I don't play for influence in my normal rated games now. That's always a nice reminder. How to handle influence, I always have a problem with that too. I always enjoy finding games that have a nice, easy to follow method of dealing with influence. But if there are no other questions, then thank you all for showing up.